maybe if you're like me, which is impossible and I'd worry about you, but if you're close and you've ever wondered whether the Black Ravens are actually good axes, whether they got good steel, whether they cut well, we're gonna find out, because I've got one here in poor enough shape and that was reasonably priced relative to other Black Raven axes that I can turn it into a user in good conscience. You know, I don't have to hang it on the wall, right, in a hermetically sealed case, right? So we're gonna take this one from its current condition, which is not that bad, but I'll show you up close here why it was cheap, right? And we're gonna go out and we're gonna see if it cut. Well, here it is, okay, in all its glory. A very pitted and worn Kelly Black Raven, which I'd love to hear your comments on what that pattern is. It's not a Connie, because I have a Connie. It's not a Dayton, and it's kind of like a Wisconsin Yankee something, all right? Always hard to figure out the patterns. Very wedgy though, and look at that hang. Can we get some more nails and, I don't know, bird's nest crap in there? Yeah, not exactly ready for use, but it's very badly pitted, okay? Which is such a tragedy, because the shape is good, the bevel's still there, the edge is ready, you know, to be restored, and you can still see the old yellow bronzing that these old Kelly Ravens came with, and that yellow there, and it's still in those holes. And then somebody, I don't know, put it under a wet rag or something and just pitted out the top. So this does not make it a very desirable collectible, but as a work user, again, in the name of science, I am totally excited to see what we can do with it. Okay? All right, let's get to work.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien.
Oh my gosh, there's nothing pretty about that process. I had to go like make dinner, so I couldn't film all the destruction. Basically the top, I don't know, half an inch or 3/4 of an inch on that eye just collapsed as mush. There was nothing left. There's more metal wedges in there. There's at least 2 more wedges.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait.
Destruction, there's still a metal wedge right there. So that's what we're dealing with in terms of salvageable material. And I think there is still a nail in there, like even farther in. And the kerf is all off now. I don't know. You know, as I looked at it more and I checked it out, I was looking at the kerf, I thought it was lost cause, right? Lost too much material on top. I was gonna have to take so much off this shoulder just to get it fit, but I did it anyways. And I got a nice fit, and it looks okay, and I think there's good wood here. So we're gonna save this with a BLO soak, right? And the Black Raven head. So this axe is beautiful because it's ugly, really, right? I mean, it's what makes it beautiful is it's just ugly, and the pitting's horrible, but it's got great patina, and it's got great potential, and it's Black Raven, and it needs to get out in the woods, and it needs to kill some trees. I'm undecided at this point, heading into the unknown on what to do about the embossing here, because half of it's great, half of it sucks. So I'm gonna mask this off, and it's gonna protect it from the grinding work. And let's see how that goes.
We used to be 4 ordinary teenagers, until one day, we met some new friends from out of town. They were called Dinosaurs. friends and I became the secret scouts, allies to these dinosaurs from outer space, and joined in their battles against Genghis Rex and the evil Tyrannos. The dinosaurs are leaving, Bossasaur. Well, follow them!
So the embossing is raised pretty well where it's not pitted. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sanding sponge. Right, I'm pretty sure this is like 220 grit or something. And I'm just going to very gently scrape across the top. I'm just going to very, very gingerly see if I can get those letters and those high points to stick out just a little bit without disturbing anything underneath. We're going to work on that a while. And I don't want the video watching me because I'm nervous, because it's precious.
So working on it by hand, I got to a point where, I got a nice amount of shine, started to look really good and restored, but still preserving a ton of patina, a lot of character. Remember that handle? So the handle went in for a month-long boiled linseed oil soak. And so what you do to do this is you take an Axe length box, you take some newsprint, and you make basically a mold. And you double ply the trash bags on there, and you pour in boiled linseed oil and submerge it for 30 days. And what you get is just an effect like no other. That boiled linseed oil soaks in as far as it can. I mean, whatever the maximum oil saturation potential of the wood is, you will find it. And then you take it out, and the stuff will bleed and leach out oil for like a week, literally. You got to wipe it, you got to burnish it and wipe it. But if you keep going, you get these incredible, incredible finishes on old handles, and all that gunk and all that dirt just comes out in a shine. So this looks nice, and we'll see if it's going to survive.
So I really I had to step away from this project for about 6 weeks. I had to just step away, and I think that's okay, because it gives you time to figure out what the hell you want, really what to do with this. And this is, not an ordinary axe. This is a very collectible, historic axe, and highly sought after by people, and, in good or bad condition, and I did not want to fuck it up. And basically I settled on less is more. This is cool, it's going to be cool, and when I get this haft on it, that's going to be really rad, and I hope it does not blow up when I use it. And put a good edge on this, a really striking bevel is what I'm going to move on to do.
So this Black Raven has really narrow, thin cheeks, a pretty aggressive bevel. By aggressive, I mean, thin and sharp. I didn't have to start filing much behind just the actual edge itself, and basically put a pretty narrow flat grind on there just to get 27.5 degrees, which is great for a felling axe. I was very pleased. And we want to make it really pop, make it look good. So I'm going to do something called roostering. And roostering is when you take a drywall sander and you use progressively higher grits of sandpaper to just basically sand, polish, and sharpen your bevel. And so you need a mask, you really do, particularly with narrow cheeks. Otherwise that sandpaper is going to get drugged right across your etching, and that's what you see here, right? You just do this from like 80 grit up to 3,000 grit, doubling your grits each time. Very time intensive, all right? But if you do it right and you have some experience, it produces a really brilliant mirror shine and a very, very sharp edge. It's worth the effort, and I like to do it on special axes. And in this particular case, boy, did I have to work. I really had to work hard to get the effect I want. And I suspect that the steel is quite hard. Everything I did seemed to indicate that.
So yeah, I'm not the greatest edge rooster in the world or, draw filer, but I have some experience. And just, this is for the axe nerds of the world, Black Ravens, what's their quality? The steel seems to be very hard, like it's a hard steel. And that is a good thing, or it could be brittle, and a bad thing. So I think only use is going to be able to tell us really what the quality is here. But all indication so far is that this is a very high performance axe and was made to be so.
Well, now it's hafting time, and this will be a bit of a challenge, and I want to show you what the plan is. So remember how jacked up this was? You can see the kerf is no longer centered. It goes off wanky to the right, and so that coupled with I didn't deliberately remove any material off the very tip, the very front of the haft, but when it all came out and was all falling apart, there is quite a gap, goes all the way through, right at the front here, you know, a small little space. And that's very concerning, right? Because that's the plane of action. You don't want any movement that way. That's bad, okay? So the plan, and coupled with that, is I now have this just strange, weird, boiled linseed oil soaked handle that has interesting properties I've mentioned a couple times. But I don't think any glue or anything's gonna help anything stick in here in terms of wedging. You know, we're gonna have to just go with BLO and let it dry and cure over time. So I'm not gonna use any glue to deal with these issues. And so what I got, kind of a rambling explanation, I've cut a little shim out of walnut, pretty hard wedge material. And this little shim I'm going to go in first, and I've shaped it to the space pretty good, all right? So it'll form a nice solid front base here and put some pressure on the eye. And then, because of all these openings and the stuff that's worn out, and I actually think there's a metal wedge or something still in there, like way in there, there's something in there, crazy. So I'm gonna use a soft wedge, poplar, all right? And so I'll go in there after the front shim's in, and I go in sideways, and what it does is it expands into the areas that are, into the open areas, kind of expands and more evenly puts pressure on the whole eye. At least that's the plan. So let's see how that goes. Well, a little shim sheared off at the top, just below the eye level, which will be cool if I'm not totally crushing that walnut shim. Might have been too fancy by a little bit there, but we're going to work on this a little bit more. I'll accept it. I'll totally accept it. Well, there it is. There's my Black Raven user. That was a long project. And, you know, it's kind of melancholy when you get done with a project, because that's how it is. And there may be some things like, oh, would have done that different, or that could be better. You know, you second guess yourself at the end. But overall, you know, for a classic old axe, in rough shape when I got it, but now it's not in rough shape. That looks amazing, I think, to me. Really proud of that. And very curious about this steel. It is, well, it acted hard and tempered like a hardwood felling axe. And of course the handle, what a fucking quest. 6 weeks after this BLO coat has started, you know, drying, and I've been handling it and working on it with the project, and you know, it's got a lot of handling. It's really dried and smooth, and the finish is like nothing else. It's almost a varnish. There's no gumminess anymore. It's smooth and treated. The hafting, final look, right? not everything went right. Not everything was what I wanted. Maybe should have done a cross wedge, you know, got a little bit more out of it. Maybe should put a barrel wedge in there. There's things I could do to just keep cranking down on the pressure, but the mushrooming's good. I like how it looks. That shim is in there pretty good. I got enough in there that it works good, or it should anyways. And really, the thing I worry about is just the handle itself. You know, will it crack back in here? Is just my fear. But I have sworn an oath. And I've put so many hours into this. It's a prized possession. It's beautiful, and if the handle breaks, I'll put it on a super premium, something awesome, and just keep it going. But thanks for watching this long video. Hope you learned something. I learned a ton. Every time I do it, I learned a ton. But as you can see, all of these things are simple. They really are simple. You can do them with simple tools. And I can do it. Anyone can do it. It's just like, what do you want to see? What do you want to produce? There's a way to do it. And, you know, $50 and flap wheels or whatever, and you got this now. Pretty cool. So, Axe Effect for myself. Yes.